What's up, everybody? We're going to go over some ankle mobility, starting with dorsiflexion and then leading into plantar flexion. So you have dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, or basically with your toes pointing down or when your toe is pointing up, I like to call. And then it also can, what some people call supination or eversion, and also pronation or inversion, okay, of the foot. So it can do all those different things, as well as the ankle can rotate around a fixed circle. Okay, in all those directions your ankle can move. And a lot of times you see people squat and they can't get their heels down, and a lot of the times it's because they don't have the adequate dorsiflexion of the ankle. So a way you can build space in dorsiflexion is getting into the combat position. Okay, this would be a version where you lean forward, bringing your mid-chest over your knee, and breathe and hold. Now, you could also use a box. For example, if this was hurting my back knee or back ankle, or it was just too much on this front ankle, I could step my foot on top of a box or a bench and use a dowel or the wall to support myself and do something similar to what I'm doing here and stretching out the ankle. Or you can get in the lunge position to regress even further and just lean forward just like that while holding on to like a wall. Okay, so different options just in case you can't get in this position. We're gonna start and hold for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna begin our pals contraction. So we're gonna bring our mid-chest over the knee, lean forward. You should feel a good stretch in the posterior lower limb here. Okay, breathe and hold. Again, inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Really exhale it all out, but exhale nice and slow. Inhale 4, exhale 8. So after 2 minutes, the progressive angular isometric load, what we'll do is start pressing the foot into the ground. So we're almost gonna gas pedal our foot into the ground, like you're pushing the brakes or you're pushing a gas pedal down. We'll perform that for about 45 seconds from 0 to 100%. And then after that, we're gonna turn the tissue on the opposite side of the joint. So right then and right now, we're stretching the posterior lower limb. When we perform our rals contraction, we're going to use the anterior lower limb to progress that stretch even further, actually regressing the angle even further. Breathe. Got about 30 more seconds. All right, so when we hit 2 minutes, we're gonna start pressing down at about 1% effort. We're gonna slowly climb for about 45 seconds, all the way to 100% effort for the last 10 seconds, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and start pressing the toes into the ground about 1%, 2%, 3%. Starting to push the whole foot into the ground about 10%. Starting to activate the calf muscles, all the muscles behind the lower limb, about 15 to 20%. Beginning to press my hands into the ground, starting to really squeeze the muscles in the back here, about 25 to 30%. Keep pressing down with the front toes and trying to gas pedal down. Let's go about 40% to 50%, then 60% all the way to 70%. And then we're gonna build up to 100% of our safest and greatest effort. We're gonna hold that. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Now we're gonna try to use the tissues on the opposite side by trying almost pulling those toes off the ground, going deeper into dorsiflexion of the ankle, holding it here for about 20 more seconds, squeezing this tissue, the anterior fib here, anterior tib. Keep going, 10 more seconds. Push into the ground, Should be at high efforts here, and then relax. We're gonna go back to our passive stretch for the last 45 seconds, and then we're gonna switch side. Now again, if you have any knee issues or ankle issues, or if this isn't a comfortable position, just one, try not to go to any pain. And if you go into any pain, then make sure that you regress this position. Keep breathing here. Ten more seconds. Good. Let's go ahead and switch side. Now it might be a little achy at first. That's why you want to wait about 2 minutes. You don't want to just start producing that force within 30 seconds. You want that ankle to get relaxed in this position. If you need to move around that back ankle, if you need to bring the toes, extended, that's fine. Or you can have them flexed. From here, we're trying to get the mid chest over the knee. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Just focusing on your breathing here. Got about 1 more minute. Just focusing on your breathing. And then again, pals effort, gas pedal down, rails, you're gonna try to pull those toes off the ground and use the opposite side of the joint. For now, just focus on your breathing. Just try to set yourself up to where you won't be able to be kind of moving in place. Find your end range. We're going to start pressing that foot down 10%. Toes will start pressing down, front of the foot, midfoot, all about 10% effort. Using the posterior lower limb. Let's move it to about 15 to 20%. Pushing the hands into the ground, 30% effort. Holding here. Go all the way to 45% effort, 50%. Keep pressing down all the way to 60%, and then 70 to 100% of your safest and greatest effort, pushing those toes and foot into the ground. Hold it. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Try to pull those toes toward the shin. Try to go deeper into your stretch. Holding this for about 30 seconds. Shallow breathe here, keep the intensity high. Try to just go deeper into that stretch, about 15 more seconds here. And relax, and then go back to your passive stretch, okay? Now, if you have any pain that is unbearable, or just pain that just doesn't feel right, this wouldn't be something for you. You probably want to regress by putting the foot up on a bench or a box, and then probably passively holding for a lot less time, and holding those pals and rails a lot less time too. So if you had significant issues there, then that's something that you definitely want to regress. You want to go shorter time, shorter periods, okay? So those would be some pals and rails for the ankles. After that, I like to take my ankles through their full range of motion, going through a couple ankle cars on each side. save my work, okay? Even after performing those as many times as I have in the past, I'm still gonna feel, you know, a little bit of discomfort, but I kind of know myself to where if it's painful, I'm not gonna do it, but if I can tolerate it, I'm probably gonna go through it. And as long as there's no closing angle joint pain, then I'm definitely gonna kind of move through it, because if you do it for less time, you're gonna obviously give it less input. So you wanna slowly progress over time. Obviously, if you can't do 2 minutes of a passive hold, that's telling you something. If you can't even hold a position passively for 2 minutes, then one, you need to regress the way you're holding that position. Okay, so you wouldn't have to necessarily go in that combat position. It would definitely be a more advanced position. So then we're gonna go ahead and just kind of clean out those knees as well. And then we'll get the toes, big toe down, small toes up. And then small toes down, big toe up. Big toe down, small toes up. All toes up, piano them down, piano them down, piano them down. All right, so that would be some ankle mobility.